All right, here we go. Patriot Football League's 2050 season. This is our 31st campaign off season. I have reduced the league back to the original, not the original six, but to six teams. So we have the Colorado Coolers, the Dayton Triangles, the Carolina Devilfish, the El Paso Caballeros, the Mesa Machine, and the Indianapolis Capitals. All other teams will have folded or will have started off their own league or something, but they are no longer going to be in the league. I want to keep this, again, a tight, intimate, professional league in which I can get games done quicker and also get them done with more full simulation. So that means these teams ultimately are remaining in the league because we have a human owner for every team. Colorado comes in here with 13 credits to spend in the offseason, so they should be able to find a way to retain much of their value. Dayton comes in here with 9. Carolina comes in here. Unfortunately, they were the worst team left on the board. They have 4, so they have just enough to purchase a reroll if they need to. El Paso comes in here much improved. They have 10. Mesa comes in here with 8. And again, this is based on Pro Football Express Fictional Team Generation Career Module. So that's where this money comes from. This money is from these rules. And Indianapolis with 9. So we're going to start it off with the worst team in the, that would be remaining on the board. So this is set in the order. Offseason is set in the order of how they finished the 2049 campaign. Of course, Colorado finished as the champs. And we're going to start with the Devilfish. So every team must roll the offseason chart once. Winning teams must roll it as well, and they must purchase any rerolls. A losing team must roll it, and they get one free reroll for a chance to try to fix something. But first, they're going to retain their coach. They don't have enough money to fire a coach, so they're going to retain Doug Harrington. And why wouldn't they? 2 years ago he was a champ, or 3 years ago he was a champion. He has a 34 defense, and it's a pass-heavy offense. I'm not going to write in the names of the players until I roll these, because if something changes, then that will indicate a narrative change. I have all of the old players from all the other teams. So let's say the Carolina Devilfish improve their offense, then that would mean we're going to go through here and pick one of the players that were good, that would come off that they basically would have signed to say that. So here we go. They have to roll this and suffer a change. They are currently a 1 offense, 0 defense. Again, they went 4-9. They went 4-8-3 or 4-9-2 or something like that. So they really need to improve something. And we're going to roll a 5. Their offense will go up 1. They will become a 2. Now, I can accept that and stop. I don't get to keep that and then roll for something else. That's it. So that would be an improvement to an offense of 2. And I think we're going to do that. We're not going to risk. I am not going to risk re-rolling and screwing us out of that. Or screwing Carolina out of that. So Carolina will again remain pass heavy. 34. They will improve to an offense of 2. Their defense will remain as 0, but again, you can't fix everything in one season. They have 4 credits, which will be lost immediately. Their kicker, though, let's take a look. Their kicker is, Carolina's kicker is 180. I think you want to stay there. If we purchase a new kicker, it's a random roll. I don't think they're going to want to spend any money to do that, so they're going to retain their kicker, who is a 100. He does not miss PATs, and he makes 80% of his field goals. So Carolina's done, folks. Now, that improvement makes sense that they would be. So remember, last year they had a rookie quarterback, a rookie halfback, and a rookie running back, a fullback. It strikes me, out of all of these teams that have been folded, Boise had a really good quarterback and a great back. Houston was bad. Los Angeles was poor. Omaha Americans had Swink. Yeah, see, I think they would sign Swink, the big back. So what I'll do here is replace their Cole with Swink. So Carolina will retain their quarterback, who's now in his 2nd year, Olsen. Swink comes in. That explains why they become a 2. They're going to move their Meter had 3 fumbles in one game. I think that fullback would be gone somewhere else. We're going to keep Cole as the fullback. They're split in. Remains Simmons. Martin remains their tight end. And Roland remains their fullback. Their flanker back. Roland. Their punter he led the league with 34 punts. Not something to boast about, but he at least did. Taylor stays on. And Taylor is a 180. And their return man is Keith. So they don't have big changes. Now their defense didn't change, so we're going to have to stick with these guys. Taggart. O'Leary. No. Their inside backer was O'Leary. And their cornerback was Norris. And then I will take some players from, let's see, Omaha. They're going to get James from Omaha. So let me scratch James off. They're going to take, Beathard, the stud from MBT. So say goodbye to the MBT. This team had been around for 30 years. The Northborough Tigers are finally folded up. Beathard out. They're going to grab Bottas from San Diego. He was a stud. Again, these are basically names. I've already rolled to see their change. By the way, their changes, they're an offense 2, defense 0. Outside backer is going to be Kleinhaus of Billings. And then they're going to get Marshall, cornerback. Fist is their free safety. And, whoops, I got to mark these guys off. Marshall, Kleinhaus, Fist. And then they're going to get for their strong safety Benson, who was a rookie last year. And that's it. They're finished, folks. They're ready to play. So all you got to do now is finish the other 5 teams. And they lose their $4. If you don't spend it, you lose it. They're not going to spend it and risk getting worse than something. Oh, they need another defensive end. And we'll take Reynolds, who was also a rookie last year. All right, so they run a 34. They are fully named. They've actually collected players that were lost when these teams were forced to fold as the league disbanded these teams. And Carolina now revamping their offense, including a superstar back, Swink. Led the league in rushing 2 years ago. Their defense is still going to need work, but there's nothing they can do to fix that. If I roll this chart, they lose that +1 and could get something else. So, all right, so Carolina's finished. And Carolina, we can come over here and file. All right, we're going to keep these out because this is other players that could join teams. All right. Uh-oh. There we go. Somehow I got a blank card there. All right, let's show Devilfish, Mesa Machine. Yep, okay, the Mesa Machine went 8-5-1 and failed to make the playoffs. Mesa, though, did earn, or actually, where's Mesa? Mesa did earn 8. Yep, so 8. They're going to retain their coach, I think. Billy Folds, they've been the best offense in football for the last 2 years. They set a league record. They set a league record 2 years ago with the highest scoring offense we've ever had in our league, but they could not win a title. They couldn't even get to the championship. I don't think they'd want to spend 3 credits to hire a coach. It's a pass-heavy 43 coach. They have a 3 offense, 0. Every team must re-roll. So let's roll this, because just in case something bad happens, they may want to fire their coach anyway. So here we go. This is a must. Every team must re-roll this once to see how their team could change. 6, they're going to roll again. 7, they're going to dodge a bullet. No change. They are a 3-0. I'm tempted to leave them at 3-0. Their place kicker is a 95-80. They're going to want to buy a new place kicker, I think. Boy, but if I roll this, if I pay to roll this, and we end up getting our offense down, but that defense has been stuck. Yeah, I think they're gonna go through. You got to go 3-0. Billings was in the championship 3-0. They went 12-2-1. but Billings played a bad division, so that's probably part of the reason. Mesa's not going to risk it. They're going to stay with their 3-0. No change. They're not going to spend any of their money on that, which means I don't think they want to change. Maybe they should change their philosophy. That means firing Billy Folds. Would Kevin fire Billy Folds? I don't know, man. They've been a winner. They've won the division 2 years in a row. They've been close. I think they're going to give him one more year. Billy Folds will get one more year. And Billy Folds is a pass. He's a 43. And he is a pass heavy. Stadium Sun Devil, that doesn't change. So quarterback for them, they had no change. So they're going to go into the season with the same guys. Their veteran Andrews at quarterback. Parker, the veteran, is their top back. Willis is their fullback. Parks, their veteran, this is the first year he wasn't in the top in receiving. I mean, he was, but not the top. Their tight end Realms retains, and Royce, their flanker. Their punter, James. And then return man Wilkie, who had a brilliant season 2 years ago. All right, they're going to have Greg, who was a rookie last year. He's now into his second year. Norrell, their middle linebacker. And their top DB, Harris. All right, now do we sign a new place kicker? We can spend, a place kicker costs only $2. Yeah, let's do it. We're going to roll for a new place kicker. 5, 95.85. They were 95.80, so they did improve. So they're going to hire a new place kicker. Let's see if there's a place kicker that was 95.80 for the other team. Yep, Kudrick was. So they're basically going to fire their guy and pick up Krudricks, who's a 95.85. So they improve their place kicking. They still can miss a PAT, but they improved their field goal kicking quite a bit. Kudrick, where's he at? So we got to scratch Kudrick off. Kudrick, there he is. Scratch him off. All right, so we got to fill in their defense now. They're going to have O'Donnell coming over from the Fargo Dakotas. They're going to bring in Clark. Ooh, Clark was a stud for Dallas. They're going to bring in Clark. Oh, somebody's going to get Bravo, that defensive back. He was the league MVP last year. Defensive end Victor from San Antonio. Linebacker here is Norris. They got Norris and Norrell. That's going to be fun. Okay, so that team is pretty much done. Well, there's still backs and things. Strong side backer Mangum from Houston. They're going to take Borghese, cornerback from Billings. Oh, and Billings still has Bork, who's one of the best defensive linemen in the league. And then Robards, who was a rookie last year, coming over from San Diego. And the Northborough Tigers, Colburn, who was the league defensive back of the year 2 years ago. And last but not least, I think that's everybody. Yep. So they spent their money. Again, they have you don't get to retain your money, Mesa. So they're finished. All right. So Mesa gets to go in the box, as these will be again recycled later. And there it is, folks. The Devilfish are done. Devilfish improved to a 2-0. Mesa Machine improved to a 3-0. Or don't improve, excuse me. They stay the same at 3-0. Risking, and by the way, there's a reload. Not only did we call the team league down to 6 teams, we've realigned. So we have in the West, we have Colorado, El Paso, and Mesa in the West. A Colorado team, a West Texas team, and an Arizona team, and then we have Carolina, Dayton, and Indianapolis in the East. So that's their new competition. All right, so Mesa will retain their coach. They stay a pass heavy, 43 defense. Their offense stays the same at 3. Their defense, they just can't get it improved. But they did improve their place kicker with Kudrick, 95, 85. And now Dayton's up. All right, remember, every team must go through the roll once. Dayton has 9 to spend if things fall apart for them. Dayton had a 0 offense, but the best defense in football, -3. So they want to retain that -3. 6 is a roll again. 8 is roll again. Oh, things are looking dicey. So you can imagine this is negotiations, right? Dayton is negotiating with their players, trying to retain players, trying to get players. That's what this would be, renegotiations. 6, they got to roll again. Oh my God, this is pretty intense. 4, oh, their offense can only, their offense goes down. Their offense cannot go down. It's already a 0. They're going to spin. They have a -3. They went 9 and 5, but that offense at -0 is not great. But -3 is something you don't want to risk. I mean, that's a phenomenal score. Yeah, they're going to stay with that -3. I mean, they went 9 and 5 with a brilliant defense. They're going to keep their -3. Phil Barnhart running a 43 defense that is dominant. They're run heavy, trying to keep the ball on the ground. And they will not spend any of their money to, well, wait a second. What's their kicker like? Oh, he's a 185. Yeah, they're definitely not going to sign a new coach or a new kicker. So Dayton is going to spend that money retaining their talent. So Dayton's pretty much going to stay together, right? Phil Barnhart, their quarterback, Wallace, he's a vet. He's in his 10th or 11th year. They're going to retain Robinson, who's in about his 8th or 9th year, Robinson. They're going to retain Norman, their fullback. They're going to keep Hollis, their best split in. Andrews, their tight end. They're going to retain Davis, their flanker. Their punter was a rookie last year. He's solid, Coleman. They had a much improved place kicker replacing a longtime vet. He is a 100 and an 85. That is brilliant. And their return man, McDowell, returns as they have not seen any changes. Their defense, Gibson, who was the defensive lineman of the year, he had 8 points. I think he had 8 or 9 points of box score highlights. Their superstar, Jacobs, at linebacker. And then Matthews. They had 2 big rookies, and then Martins. Jacobs and Martins were rookies last year. All right, so we're going to have to go through here and grab Walter of the Northborough Tigers. Nobody left there except offensive players. San Diego, they're going to grab, Grantham. Grantham 2 years ago, or a year ago, was one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Oh, and they're going to get Bjork. Holy cow. This makes sense that they would retain that -3 because these are 3 of the best. Gibson was the best DL this year. Grantham was a year ago, or 2 years ago, and Bjork was last year. So they end up with a front 4. This is like the Los Angeles Rams of the late 60s, early 70s. 4 superstars on their defensive line. Okay, linebackers. Going with Jacobs, who was one of the best linebackers in the league. Louderbeck from my brother's old team. Louderbeck. And Lundy. Oh, we may be out of defensive players. Nope, Dawes of San Antonio, who has a ring. He won a title 2 years ago. All right, defensive backs. Oh, and they're going to land Bravo from Dallas, who was the league's MVP. Oh, my God. Bravo. And he returned 3 kicks for touchdowns, so they've got a new kick returner. Bravo. What a stud. That explains why this team is a -3. Holy cow. They need another DB. Doyle from Jeff's old team. And then we're going to have to bring in a rookie. I'll just name a new guy. Wait a second. I got guys here. Omaha. Miles. Never mind. We didn't have to bring in a rookie. So they're going to basically grab off the scrap heap of teams that were folded and build and maintain this -3 defense. But now everybody is a known commodity. Everybody is a known superstar. Fantastic. Good for you, Dayton. Dayton with a -3. So we got interesting. We got two offensive focused teams, and then we have a very defensive heavy team. So that's beautiful. All right, next up is Indy. Again, we're going to make the roll. Indy had a brilliant season. They almost got to the big game. Could not get past Colorado. All right, so here we go. Let's roll. What happens? Currently, they have a coach, Benny Leonard. They're not going to fire Benny Leonard. He has done a fine job. They're in the Hooters Dome. He is a 34 defense balanced coach. Let's roll and see what their damage is. 8. Nope, they roll again, so they're negotiating to maintain what they have. 12. Their offense goes down 2. Their offense was a 2 -2. They're definitely going to spend money to roll again. So they're going to spend 4 to roll again. They have 5 left. They're going to roll again. That's a minus. They cannot afford that. 2. Defense goes down -2. They're already a -2. I'm not going to mess with them. We're going to keep that 2-2. Oh, wait, no, I have to. Because their defense was already a -2. Oh, so their defense would be, yeah, they lost their offense. And their defense would become a -3 max. So I rolled double 6s and then I rolled double. So there's 0 -3. We have one more reroll. 0 -3. Do we want to have another dominant defensive team? But man, a reroll. What are the odds I'm going to get the offense back? I mean, we automatically lose the 2 because that was the free off-season roll that has to affect your team, right? So they're at 0. But then I got a -3 defense. If I roll this again, they lose that -2, and we risk losing it all because you can't retain the -2. They have 5. What's their place kicker like? Oh, their place kicker's pretty good. 180. Polk. They have a rookie quarterback. He's now in his 2nd year. They have an aging halfback. God, they would be a 0 -3, just like Dayton. Yep, they're going to try to win it all with a great defense. -3. I just don't want to risk losing that -2. Okay, so they're going to retain their defense. They've got Brown, Tyson, who is a superstar. He also was the Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. And they had a rookie, Wilson, this year. He's now in his 2nd year. We're going to have also joining, we're going to have Sweeney from the Americans, Omaha Americans. Fargo, they're going to have Williams at linebacker. So we're recycling all of these great old players. I think Doyle's gone. And Stone, shoot, they got a great linebacking core. Again, it explains how they get to a -3, picking up all of these stars off of old teams. Johnson. And then they need a free safety. They don't have anybody. They don't have... Oh, Lundy. Yep, they're going to get Lundy. Oh, he's a stud, too. Houston was bad, but they did have Magnum and Lundy. Ooh, and Bevins for my brother's old team. And Billings has nobody left on defense. San Diego, nobody left on defense. Nobody left on defense. So we have to draft 2 rookies. Oh, my God. Doyle. I think... Doyle. So we will have Doyle. And that has allowed us to recycle every single defensive player that was left in the league that was a star. These are stars. There were guys named on the rosters that were just for notes. That's it. There are no more defensive guys left on these teams. So if we replace offensive players, we've got plenty. They're going to have to draft a rookie. Let's go with Carlson. Carlson with 2 S's. He is a rookie. All right. So again, their offense was a +2, and it went down. So we're going to have to say Chappelle retired, and they're going to get Dupree from San Antonio. Dupree won a championship, so he's got a ring. I think Randall was an aging vet. He's going to retire as well. So we're going to have retired and retired. They're going to lose Randall, and they're going to replace him with Wells of San Diego. And they retain Johnson at tight end. And they'll retain Howard at flanker. And they'll retain Soames at fullback. They have a young quarterback, McAllister, going into his second year. Their punter is Schoner. Polk is their place kicker. He's a 180. And the return man is Holmberg, who had a couple of touchdowns a couple years ago. Okay, I think we're done with those guys. So there it is. Indianapolis lost their +2 offense. They had a +2, -2. They lost +2 offense and went to a -3. That was represented in both Chappelle, who is in his 10th year, veteran, and of course Randall, his star receiver, in his 8th or 9th year. So that makes sense. Those two guys hung it up, called it a day. And they end up with a brilliant defense, picking Lundy and Bevins and Sweeney and Stone and Doyle off the market. And there's Indy. Beautiful. We have one team left, I think. No, two. El Paso Caballeros. This team had a huge turnaround. They were on the verge of bankruptcy, and they ended up winning 10 games. They had a great offseason, and I predicted they would be in the top 10, but they ended up playing much better than that. Offseason. Caballeros. 4. His offense goes down 1. They were... Oh, man, they were a 2 -2. I'm willing to go to a 1 -2. I don't think I want to risk another. We can roll. We have 10 to roll. They're not going to fire Hansen. He brought them their first division title. They went 10-4. Why would you fire him? You're not going to. They're a run-heavy 43 team. We could pay to roll one more time, but what are the odds we would lose our defense? So they currently have a 1 -2. So if I roll again, we could lose one of those things. There are 2 other teams in the league that have no offense. 2 teams that have no defense. This team would be one of the few that has offense and defense. Yeah, we're going to stay, even though they lost something, we're going to keep it because that gives them an advantage against every team in the league on some side of the ball somewhere. So because we lost some offense, we're going to have to we're going to have to come up with a narrative as to why that is. Well, they had a rookie quarterback who did all right. Rodriguez, Crawford, Bolston. They would lose Bolston, their tight end, because he was their best player. That makes sense. He would leave for the NFL. So we're going to have Morris, their stud running back, Rodriguez, Crawford, who used to be their starting halfback until they drafted Rodriguez. He became the fullback. They're going to keep Watson, one of the better receivers. They will lose Bolton. They will keep Erickson. They have Norton at punter. Their place kicker is a 175. Well, there we go. We might want to replace Ham. We do have the money to replace Ham. We're going to do it. We're going to spend some of that money to replace Ham. 4 is 180. Yeah, it goes up. So we're going to dump Ham. And we're going to go up. And let's go find the guy Davis there. No, McNeese. Nice is actually not very good. Oh, Kanisi. Kanisi's coming over. He's a 180. There it is. Return man, of course, is Crawford. They retain Crawford. All right, so we need a new tight end. O'Shea. No doubt. O'Shea from San Antonio. He's got a ring, folks. God, Dory, who was the best receiver in football for 2 years, is still out there. All right, Caballeros, that's going to explain how they lost something. So they lost Bolston, who led the tight ends in the league. So not a but they replaced him with O'Shea, who was a solid guy. Those guys are out. And then we got to do our defense. We got Zorch. Valdez is our middle linebacker. We have Fuentes is a DB, free safety. Okay, we need to create players now because there's nobody left. So those guys are done. It means we have to make new guys here. So DT, we're going to have Jones, Richards. These guys are all going to be rookies representing that -2. We're going to have Barrow. We'll see how all these guys' careers play out. Outside backer, we're going to have Shipley. And another rookie outside backer. Oh, shoot. Jackson. Rookie. Whew, all these rookies. We're going to have Jameson. Peters. And last but not least, their strong safety will be Williams. There we go. So they're +1. They lost a little here, but they maintained their defense, but they did it with a lot of young men playing. That's pretty cool. And they're done. Oh, and they've got Kinesi. So we keep Kinesi in the league. How about that? Oh, man, I got to go back. I've forgotten to fix this. So Dayton retains their run heavy, 43. Their offense, 0. Their defense, they retain that -3. Their kicker now is 185. Okay, and then we have Indy, who retains their balanced 34. Their offense dropped, unfortunately, but their defense went up -3, and they improved their place kicker in. Or no, actually, they kept Paul. And last but no, we got one more after this. El Paso retains their coach, run heavy, 43. Their offense now drops 1, but their defense, at least they didn't lose any value there. And they snatched Kinesi off the street after those other teams folded. And last but not least, the champions, your league champions, Colorado Coolers. What's going to happen? They're a 3 -2. This is, of course, the only team in the league that was a 3 -2, and they won the title. So it shows you how valuable 3 -2 is. 7, no change. Oh, no. So they keep their coach, Jack Shaw, who's won 2 titles. They retain Kingfisher, who's won 3 league MVPs. Excuse me, 2 league MVPs and 3 bowl MVPs. Wow, so they're going to retain their pass-heavy coach with a 34 defense. They're going to look to repeat, retaining their 3 -2. Folks, oh, they still have a poor kicker, 95-75. They're going to spend some of that 13 and try to get a new kicker. 5 is 95-85. Well, that's better. Oh no, 95-70. Yeah, they're gonna get a new kicker, 95-75. So they're up to 95-85. So that's much better. Who would that be? That would be Kinesi's been signed. Barnes, Yoy. Oh yeah, Yoy of Omaha. He was a stud. So they're gonna actually get Yoy. So their new place kicker is now Yoy, and he is a 95-85. They'll retain their punter, Reed. Young punter, Jackson, their kick returner. Nothing changes on this team because nothing changed. Kingfisher, who is an absolute superstar, he has been the creme. He's been the best quarterback in our league for 8 years. Their halfback, young Jordan, he's now in his 2nd year. Rhodes, their fullback, who had a couple of fumbles, but he'll be all right. Swanson, their old veteran. Wide receiver, Boone, their tight end. Wainwright, who caught a touchdown in the big game. All stay on board. Tapper, their big defensive end. Keynes, their linebacker, who picked off, recovered a fumble in the championship. And Oscar, at a strong side safety, who has done everything to be a superstar in this league. That means we're going to be filling in players here, all young rookies again. I don't think there are any guys left. So there's a whole lot of offensive players that never came to fruition. Gone out of the league. All right, we got to make up some names now, dang it. Let's go Robinson for their middle linebacker. And he'll be a rookie. Let's go with Clark. Rookie. Outside backer. Nathan. Rookie. They got Keynes at inside linebacker, right inside linebacker. Weber. Rookie. Right there, and they maintain their 3 minus 2. Outside backer. This will be Thompson. All these young guys coming in learning from the master, Jack Shaw. Strong side corner will be Andrews. Bankhead will be their weak side linebacker, or their weak side corner. Oscar stays on as a superstar defensive player, and their weak safety now will be Mick. Oh my God, Mick. Oh my God, McDonaldson. How about that? McDaniels. Rookie. There we go. So we have completed the off season. Colorado spent money for a kicker. So let's go down here. Colorado, we already did that. And our realignment for the 31st season will be Colorado in the West with El Paso and Mesa. East will be Carolina, Dayton, and Indianapolis. And this is going to be a very defensive league. -2 defense, -2 defense, -3 defense, -3 defense, 0. So these are the only 2 teams in the league with no defense, but they have offense. So that's kind of outstanding. It's going to be fun to see these 6 teams go head to head. And there it is, folks. We have completed Patriot Football League's 31st off season. We've realigned. We've culled 10 teams out so I can get back to an intimate, small, tight, talented professional football league. And it's just less work for me doing tracking everything, right? But we keep all these good, relevant teams, all with subscribers that are interested, that are watching. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.